Hello and welcome back to the channel. I've been tinkering with the DIYBMS system for over 4 years now. It's gone through a lot of revisions and improvements. One of the most common questions I get asked by you guys is how do I buy or build this BMS? Over the years I have ordered some small batches and I've sold those to Patreons. My friends at Open Energy Monitor have also provided me with a storefront and sorted out the shipping and handling of the products. But this was all very low volume. I've recommended using JLCPCB to build a BMS, and that used to work really well when you needed 8 or 16 of the older style single board monitors. But that isn't true of the new 16S monitoring board. Now, I'm not saying don't use JLCPCB. I still use them. They provide a quick turnaround and competitive pricing. However, JLC will typically want you to have a minimum of 5 boards assembled, which significantly increases the price of the BMS solution. And you will probably end up with surplus parts you don't actually want. So this video is all about setting up a small shop to sell my products. And hopefully you can see why I've been so reluctant to do this and have put it off for so long. I'm not looking to turn this project into a commercial venture. It was never designed to be anything other than me sharing a few ideas about BMS I designed, which actually turned out to be quite popular. I'm attempting to create a kit containing the 16S monitoring board and 3 temperature sensors. I'm also going to order a small amount of the passive balancer boards, but I suspect most people are using active balancers these days, so I won't order too many of those. I turned to JLC to order a batch of monitoring boards, and immediately I hit the first problem. There are 3 major parts out of stock at JLC, 2 surface mount chips and the large header connector. JLC has introduced a new service where you can pre-order parts, even if they're from other suppliers, but I've never used that and I've no idea how long it's going to take to set up and also process my order. So I decided to plough on and confirm the order, even with the missing parts, knowing that I was going to have to manually solder those on at a later date. That's about £400 on my credit card already, and I've got to pay for import tax as well. I nipped over to LCSC to order the missing connectors and also the ancillary parts needed to make up a kit. So there goes another £50, but you do get free shipping from LCSC if you have an active order with JLC. So that's worth knowing for the future. So now I'm going to jump over to DigiKey to get hold of the 2 missing ICs. These are the analog to digital converter and the voltage reference chip, and there goes another £90. I mentioned that I will need some temperature sensors. I use a simple thermistor circuit board, but completely forgot to order that at the same time as the monitoring boards. So back to JLC. I created a panel of temperature sensors and used the JLC assembly service to build them. They're very simple, just a connector and a thermistor on a board. Creating a panel of these boards helps to keep the cost down and also makes assembly easier when they go through the pick and place machines. So now I have the PCBs and the connectors, and I've ordered the missing parts. I also need some cables to connect up the temperature probes, and I'm not manually crimping hundreds of JST connectors onto the cable. It's bad enough trying to do a single one. I've never needed to order a custom cable assembly before. Shopping around, I found a company called Dirty PCBs, who make custom cable harnesses. I've never used this company, so I'm a bit apprehensive, but the online cable designer is easy enough to use, and I click the button to order 120 cables. So that's another dent on the credit card. It's taken about 4 weeks for everything to arrive. The DigiKey and LCSC orders arrived quickly, followed by the boards, and amazingly, the custom cables have also been delivered. So now the tricky part of soldering on the missing ICs. It's not difficult work, but very repetitive, and takes a long time to solder the pins, test and clean up. Probably took about 3 hours in total. I also need to program each of the boards with the latest firmware code. This is a simple process, taking only a few seconds per board, but with the setup time as well, it took about an hour. Now the cables that I ordered were really well made. However, what I didn't realise is that the wire they would use would be single core, and in transit all the cables have mangled together and formed a big rat's nest. Unpicking this has taken me a very long time. I also need a way to package these for transport, So I devised a little 3D printed part which I can use to make a neat coil held together with elastic band. It probably takes about a minute to coil each wire, so there's another 2 hours lost. So finally, I've got the parts to sell. Time to think about shipping and packaging. And for this, I need to buy some anti-static bags and also some cardboard boxes. So putting it all together, this is what a complete 16S cell monitoring kit looks like. Obviously, we still need the DIYBMS controller to run this monitoring board, and I'm not planning to stock those at the moment. I also mentioned that I had a small supply of the passive balancer boards. I've put these together in a kit form as well, although these don't have the pin headers soldered, so you would need to manually solder these together. These are also not supplied with a heatsink or fan, so you would need to sort those out yourself. So finally, I have products to sell and just need a storefront to sell them through. Patreon doesn't provide any sales for physical products. I looked at using eBay, but their high fees put me off. So I decided to set up shop with Shopify. They charge a monthly fee, so I will probably only keep the shop open when I actually have something to sell. I'm not going to do pre-orders, just selling items I have in hand. So finally, the shop is open. Please come buy something, as I have a large credit card bill to pay. Stock is limited, but if it all sells out, I can repeat this process. And the link is in the description of this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. You can also join me over on Patreon, where for a small monthly donation, you can get a sneak peek at upcoming changes, talk to me directly and get help with the DIY BMS solution. Thanks for watching.